We're now ready to do the credit card pouch for the classic zip around wallet, and these are the pieces and tools that you are going to require. You will need the 2 pieces of credit card fabric you have cut. You will need the 4 strips of credit card sides, your fusible Pellon or Decaville light, a pencil, an erasable marker or invisible marking pencil, a ruler, and of course my ever popular glue. So what I have done in advance is I have done myself up a template. Now all of these markings are listed in your pattern, but I choose to put them onto a piece of cotton because I do so many wallets that it makes it so much faster if I have something, a guide to go by, and I can lay the fabric down and just fuse the pieces really quickly on top of the wrong side of the fabric. So the markings are 3.5 inches, 1.5, 2 1/4, 1 1/4, or 1.5, 2 1/4, 1.5, 2 1/4, and 1.5. Each of the 1.5s represent the area where the fusible Decaville or Pellon will be placed. So what I have done is I have my fabric for my credit card. I'm laying it with the right side down, and I'm aligning it up to the top edge because that's where I like to place it. I have drawn a 1-inch line all the way down and parallel to the long side, and that makes it easy for me to line up all of my pieces to keep them consistent. Now, if you feel that you cannot eyeball that line when you're placing your Pellon or Decaville light down, then it really does help to put a ruler right beside that and then just lay it against there and then move the ruler away, and then you take your iron and you fuse that piece directly onto the wrong side of your credit card fabric. Now you're going to continue with a 1.5 inch strip, and you see that there's 2 side by each, and you'll find out why later on. So you line that up and then you lay the 1.5 inch strip along that line and right beside that longer piece. Give that a little steam. Now this product is going to be available on my website as well as on the Etsy shop in a kit format, so if you're wanting to buy it, you'll be able to do that. So now you're going to go down to the 1.5 inch down here, and you're going to fuse the next piece on. So when you are doing a number of wallets, it makes it so much easier and quicker to just use the template that you've drawn below and just iron directly on it. It's very, very quick, and it's very, very fast, and it's, you know, saves a lot of time when you're under the gun to get a lot of wallets done. And we've got a last piece right here. Make sure that's nice and even. Okay, I eyeball a lot of times. I very rarely use the ruler, but I just wanted to show you exactly how it would help you if you couldn't do an eyeball. Okay, so what we've done is we've fused these pieces onto the back of the credit card. What you're going to do now is you're going to flip this larger piece over. So that's the 3.5 inch size. You're going to bring it over, and you're going to give that a nice crisp edge right along there. You're going to then bring back to this fold, which is the 1.5, to the top edge. You're going to give that a nice crisp pressing, and back to the number 3, and then back to the number 4. So this is what you have. You have the right side, which has 4 really nice crisp lines that have been ironed, and this is the wrong side, which has all your fusible either Pellon or Decaville light. So what you want to do is, I've done a second template. that I again like to follow. Now this one here is for when you are folding up, get rid of this guy, you're going to fold up your credit card slots. So this will be your credit card folds. There's 3/8 of an inch between each fold. So what you want to do is you want to fold this piece in half, which is the 3-inch strip. And these lines are 9-inch width. So that is the width of the credit card fabric that you have used. So you're going to place that right to the very top along that line. Now I'm going to use some pins because again my table has got a padding on it so that I can iron on it as well as pin on it. So I'm going to just take a pin and I'm going to place it right at the top to keep it from moving on me. And there's another one there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this crisp fold right here and you're going to bring it up to that very first line. So you can see how the fold's going to happen. So before I do that, though, I'm going to bring it back and I'm going to take my glue and I am just going to add a bead of glue along the edge right to that line. And same as on this side, up to there. Now we will be cutting this off, so it doesn't matter if you smooth it out or not, and it doesn't matter if it penetrates through. So we're going to go up to the very top like so, and up to the top here. I'm going to put another pin in there to stop it from moving. Now you're going to bring this one up as well to the next one, but we have to add glue first. So glue all the way up to this line because that's the line we're going to be folding it up to. Bring that fold up to that line to the top, like so. I'm going to add a pin into there and a pin into here. And we have one more fold to go. Glue along the edge, bringing this fold to the very last line right there. Okay, so what we've done is we've created the very first credit card. So now what you want to do is you want to press this because these areas back here are not pressed firm. So once you've got that nicely set up and you've got equal amounts of 3/8 of an inch between each of these folds, you then can remove your pin and you can press the whole piece down, making sure you get it all the way through all sides so you get a nice firm pressing. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and you're going to mark the center of the credit card. You're going to use a disappearing pen for this, and you're going to mark from the second fold down, all the way down to the edge. That's where you're going to make a stitch line right through your credit card from the bottom all the way up to here and then back down again. You do not need to go through this top little area because it's not holding a credit card behind there. So you just want to go as far as here. Now what you want to do is you want to take this off of that template and you're now going to open this up. Make sure that that glue's holding well, so that your credit card piece looks like this. Now, I don't want to stitch through both layers because then when I look back in my billfold, I'll see a stitch line. So I don't want to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and I'm going to stitch it from the bottom to the top where I've marked and then back down again to secure that area for the credit card. So we'll go to the machine and we'll do that now. So here we are ready to stitch down our credit card area right through here. But before we do, I'm going to just use a domestic machine because I am using cotton. Now this is the machine I was telling you about that I brought in specifically for this wallet. And just to kind of give you an idea, I'm just going to raise the camera a little bit. This is the Singer Heavy Duty 4411. I found it to be a very good machine for what I'm using it for, and the fact that it will take bonded nylon thread in both the upper top thread and the bobbin was quite amazing to me. It's a little bit more heavy duty, it sounds a little bit rougher, but you know what? Overall, it's great performance, it's very lightweight, and I'm quite impressed with the machine itself. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch down this credit card area, which I was telling you before at the table. We're going to go from the bottom to the top and then back down again. Now I also mentioned to you about the double area where the pillon is attached, which is here to here, and I said I would explain that later. Basically what you want to do is you want to have double thickness through this area so that when you are pulling on your billfold to get into the pocket, there's a good substantial amount of thickness through this area, and you don't want it to be too soft. So through here it doesn't make a difference. There's one layer is just adequate because you're just slipping in and out of the credit cards in and out. So we're going to start by opening up the area because we don't want to stitch through the back. Now I will be trimming this back to approximately 3.5 inches, so which is the line right here. So I don't have to start right at the very bottom. I might start just halfway up, do some back stitching, and then down again, because when I cut this I don't want to I will be cutting through the thread and I do not want them to unravel back. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this into the machine. And I'm going to start pretty much about half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch up from that edge, because that's where we're going to be trimming off. And I am going to go forward a little bit, and then I'm going to back stitch, and then come forward a bit. The reason I don't cut this before I start sewing is because of the suck up factor. Your threads will suck up your fabric, and no matter what, you can't pull them out sometimes and they don't iron out. So then we trim them off accordingly. If not, you end up getting a little bit of a bow through your stitch line. So one thing you have to bear in mind is that this is not connected. So you want to make sure that you hold this down and that this back fold does not get caught up. So I'm going to continue now. You get to the top, fold, this fold right here, you put the needle in the down position, you swing the piece around, and then you continue coming backwards over top of the stitch you just did. Now you're going to snip off your threads. And basically there you have it. You have your stitch line right down through from, get this up so this, you're not getting a glare, from the, you're coming up from the bottom, you're going to the top, and then you're coming back down again. So you do not see any stitching to the back side. It's all hidden underneath inside the back side, the wrong side of the credit card slot. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to the sewing machine or to the table, and we're going to trim back what we need. So now we're going to go ahead and trim our credit card pocket to size. So what you want to do is you want to lay your ruler at the 4-inch line on top of that stitched line that you made, because we need to trim back this credit card to 8 inches in width. So you hold that nice and tight, that ruler, and you trim back the excess, making sure you have gone right through. You swing the piece around and you do the same on the opposite side, 4 inches from the stitch line. Hold the ruler down tight. Now this piece is now 8 inches in width. you need to have 3.5 inches from the top fold to the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim off that. So we'll line up the folded edge at the top with the 3.5 inch mark, and we're going to trim off the excess. Now at this point we need to add our side pieces, which are extensions for our credit card pocket. So what we are going to do is we're going to open up that section that we have just trimmed back, and we're going to lay down these 1.5 inch by 7 inch pieces on top to the right side of the credit card pocket that we have just sewn. So what you want to do is you want to either pin that in place or place a little bit of a bead of glue along this edge to hold it in place, and you're going to go and you're going to stitch this at 3/8 of an inch down the side of both sides at the machine. You can see now that I've gone ahead and done my stitch line at 3/8 of an inch in from the outside edge on both pieces. Now we need to trim this back. So you take a pair of scissors and you just trim back approximately 1/4 of an inch, halfway through the 3/8 of an inch, all the way through, reducing the bulk when we fold that over. So you'll notice that we have cut off any glue marks that we may have used when we attached the side piece to the credit card piece. So now what you want to do is you want to push forward or push to the side that piece and give it a good press. And you're going to do the same on the opposite side, giving that a good press. So we're now going to want to fold this piece over to the side and press along that folded edge at the top, because these sides have not been pressed. Now when we attach this credit card piece to your main back lining piece, you want the bottom to be finished. So what we do is we lift that up, and this piece right here is 3 inches. So this gives you a perfect line to fold up that bottom edge. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be bringing this piece down, folding up this part at the bottom as well to align with that fold like that. So how we're going to start is we're going to use this line as your fold line, and you're going to give this a nice press along that line. And then I add a little bit of glue again just to hold it in place. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to swing this piece around. Now generally this would be approximately 1/2 inch up as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to draw a line 1 inch up from the bottom of the front of the credit card area, just so that I have a line to follow, and I'm going to fold up this piece to that line. Now your stitching may be a little bit different, and you may have fused this piece on a little bit different, so this 1/2 inch is just strictly a guide. You may end up having to readjust it, so do not put any glue onto it before you check to make sure that it's going to align perfectly. So you can see that that is aligning, the bottom piece is aligning right to the back piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just a little bit of fabric glue to that side just to keep it in place. And then we're going to bring this piece down and we're going to connect it. So I'll flip this over so you can see the credit card sections at the front. You're going to add a little bit of glue to the bottom, and then you're going to flip this piece over and you're going to press it in place. Now you can use your iron and you can give it a really nice good press. So we have 2 of these credit cards to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish the second piece, because this is all ready to go, and we're going to then the next video I'll show you how to attach the credit card pieces to your back lining piece of your craft text.